how are you going to start the drawing when you're looking at that? What you should look at?
The outline, the basic polygonal shapes. Like I see a triangle, semicircle connected to it.
Yeah, like almost like a oval connected, a half of the oval, right?
You start with the center?
Start with the center. Was that you draw the center line or draw from the center of the objects?
You draw with the dot first.
In the beginning, what you should look at, the first thing you should look at the whole thing. What do you mean the whole thing? The whole big shapes. What's the whole big shapes? Let's put it on here. When I'm looking at from this angle, why? Why I cannot start drawing from that interesting corner? Because the first thing come to your mind is, how big is this thing I'm going to draw? Is that right? The first question come to your mind is, you have to figure it out. How big you want to draw this? So that means it's like you're not supposed to be going into the details. You're going into the details that could be waste your time because you might be want to make it bigger or make it smaller. So okay, I think about that is, oh, I want to make it a little bit bigger. I do want to make it a little bit bigger, like that. How about this? Like that, about this big, because I have a huge paper. Okay, like this. How about that? I have no details in this step. The only thing that you want to think about the composition of this drawing and see how big you want to capture it on the paper. How much room do you want to have it left on the left side? How much for the top? How much on the right? How much in the bottom? They actually create a balance that you feel good about it. I want to leave a little more on the bottom. I'm going to make more changes. So is it good to make 3 changes at least before you start working into the next step? Now the next step would be, I'm going to make sure that the height of this compared to the width of this whole objects. The first, at least I know by looking at it, I know the width is a little bit more than the height. Is that correct? So I'm going to do this really quickly, and I'm going to tell you how much it is. Okay, and I'm going to divide the width to be 5 times, and the height is about 4 of this. So I'm going to take this and then divide into, let me see, that's 2, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make it a little bit more on this side, like this. I'm going to take this 4 of this, right? 4 of this. Now I'm going to rotate it. I think I'm going to have to adjust it both. One is the top over here, I'm going to keep it over here, and the bottom, I'm going to move it a little bit lower. So I define the first relationship. This is the big one. The big relationship between the width and the height. If you don't change it, correct it, that mistake will remain and keep going on. So this is the bottom, this is the top, it will be like this. This is good. What the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to also divide this part to make it to become separate. This become 2. Can you tell? This is almost like, I think the thing coming over here. Because like that, coming over here. By coming to here a little bit lower. So very much you can cut it into this proportion. The other measurement technique is called angular measurement. Angular measurement measure the angle of a line. Okay? So what I'm going to do, I can align that to here, and I'm going to put it here. That's the angle. I measure the angle, I put it on here. That's another way to measure. So we're going to talk about this different technique of measurement. Now we're going to put it here, good. Now coming in here, look at the corner over here, look at the top over there, and it can actually, you can connect that. Look like this should be a little bit higher, because the bottom and the top look like a pointy into, like a reflected. See that? That's the top. And then you can divide that coming over here. Let's hold on that urge to look into the details. If you extend this line, going up and coming up here, look at the angle, and actually you pointed to cut this. It's not pointed to here, pointed to this way. And now you can start getting and going through over here. Take a look. And if you connect this, you can connect that like a whole shape going through here like this. If you ignore all those changes, but which is you should at the beginning, you don't want to get into those small changes, but just see that from this tip, you can actually connect that as a smooth line. Now I'm going to ready to deduct some area. Take that out and take that a little bit off. And now it looks like the real thing, right? Now I'm going to come in here, that I can see that that is a little in and then moving out and connecting over here. Now you can see this drawing is almost in a good shape. Look pretty close to that with the limited language. The drawing element that we use is only line. Looks like this can come down a little bit. You're gonna looking at it and staring at it and make the judgment. And come down a little bit. Then you're gonna make changes on that. Okay, now this is good. We're not done yet. We're going to the next step. The next step will be, we already know roughly how the shapes look like. Next step, we're going to staring at each small portion and make correction. That is the easy part, because you don't have to make that much decisions. You're just looking at a small portion of it and then record it on the paper. Because you already know the big relationship. You already know the size. All those things you don't need to worry about it. Okay, let's see. Now I'm going to look at very little tiny line at a time. Right? I'm going to start over here because I'm right-handed. So I'm looking at this a little bit more comfortable. And move it a little bit. You see that? When I'm looking, my charcoal pause on the paper. I'm gonna look again, and look again, look again, and I pause it, and I look again, look again. Okay, this whole process, I call it look, then draw, and then look, then draw. And then be careful that make a little turn, and curve, a little bit like this, and a little come in a little, and then come out a little again, and then come in a little, and come out a little again. Now come in here. I finished this whole line. This is good. Now I'm going to come in here and continue on this line. So come in here, and then see, oh, a little moving out, and then come in again, and going, and now ready to come in. Now come out a little smoothly, a little curve. Now I finish this line. Now I'm going to come in here and see how close is that. I think this is the proportion is correct. Now I'm going to go in here. It looks like a very smooth. And actually this line curving is coming a little bit more straight down. This is more correct. So they're like this, not like the other way. That was a little wrong. And now I'm going to come into this side. Yeah, come in a little. In the previous step of the drawing, you're making the decision. It's not based on the small details. Now you're looking at small details. Does that make sense? You're looking at the bigger line, bigger movement, bigger directions. And now you can have the time to enjoy the small details. Now coming through over here, I'm looking. Now, I never feel comfortable if I'm moving from the right to the left. So I'm going to coming to this side. And some people told me that, well, you have to think about I'm left-handed. So you have to figure out what makes you more comfortable to draw, okay? You don't have to copy exactly the way that I draw. Now I'm going to moving over here and moving a little. And even though you already did everything correct, you should need to double check. Moving a little curve and moving, coming in like that. And this a little more straight. Okay, I think this is pretty good. I think over here is not quite correct. Look again, okay? Don't just draw without looking. And anytime that you feel like you want to double check, you always double check. And there is a little curve over here, moving, and then connect to here. Okay, like that. It's pretty cool, huh? For your drawing this week, you don't have to keep going. When you get to this point, I will be very happy. But just for the finish, to give you the whole picture of what I'm going to do after this, how I can finish it. And it's pretty easy. It's easier than you think. After you get to this point, the next thing you go, like I said, and the top over here a little bit darker than the bottom, this part. Something called reflected light. That you just heard this term. Reflected light, the lights bounce back to the certain area of the objects. So I'm going to draw it like this. Use the side way of this. It just gives you, in this case, you are creating three-dimensional field. I'm still look and draw, and then on this side, a little bit darker. Just give a little whole picture. And then this side a little bit darker, like that. And then here I have the cast shadow. I have a friend, Victor, he has been correcting my English. I will want to use this video to thank him. That when I say cast shadow, I should separate it into two words. Don't rush. Okay, and I'm going to build in this shape with the correct value, not too dark, like this. So you can see that it has cast shadow over here, and the edge over here also have a little bit darker color, a little darker tone, a little bit, and the bottom over here also has cast shadow. Okay, like this. I'm going to make it darker. And the cast shadow on this side, it actually gets lighter and lighter as it extended to the edge. So this is how the drawing can be moved further. Do you believe you can draw now?
Yeah.
Right. It's so simple. It's all about how you should think at each point of the turn of this whole drawing process.